How to grow Pak Choy from planting to harvest. Hello everyone and welcome to this detailed guide on growing Pak Choy from start to finish. Pak Choy, also known as Bok Choy, is an incredibly versatile and nutritious vegetable that's perfect for both beginner and experienced gardeners. It's easy to grow, and today I'm going to show you exactly how to grow it, from preparing the soil, sowing the seeds, to harvesting. Step 1. Preparing the soil. Let's begin with one of the most important steps, preparing the soil. Pak Choy, like many leafy greens, prefers well-drained, fertile soil. The best type of soil for Pak Choy is loamy soil. This soil has a balance of sand, silt, and clay, which allows water to drain while retaining enough moisture for the plant. If your garden soil is heavy clay, you might want to add some organic matter like compost or well-rotted manure. This will help break up the soil and provide nutrients to the plants. So how do we prepare the soil? First, you want to loosen it up to a depth of at least 20 centimeters. You can do this with a garden fork or a tiller. Once it's loose, mix in some organic compost or aged manure to improve the soil structure. If you're using compost, aim for about 1 part compost to 2 parts soil. This will ensure the soil is rich in nutrients like nitrogen, phosphorus, and potassium, which are essential for strong plant growth. Pak Choy thrives in slightly acidic to neutral soil, with a pH range of about 6.0 to 7.5. If you're unsure about the pH of your soil, you can buy a soil testing kit at your local garden center. If your soil is too acidic, you can add lime to raise the pH. If it's too alkaline, sulfur can be used to bring it down. Step 2. Choosing your containers or bed. Once the soil is ready, it's time to choose where to plant your Pak Choy. You can grow it directly in the garden or in containers. If you're growing Pak Choy in containers, make sure the pots are large enough to give the plants plenty of space. A 5-gallon pot is a good size for growing multiple Pak Choy plants. For garden beds, you can plant in rows or raised beds, ensuring each plant has enough space to grow. Pak Choy needs room to expand, so aim to space the plants about 15 to 20 centimeters apart. This will prevent overcrowding and allow the plants to grow freely. Step 3. Sowing the seeds. Now we're ready to plant. Pak Choy is usually grown from seed, and sowing is simple. If you're starting seeds indoors, you can use seed trays filled with potting mix. Plant each seed about 1 centimeter deep and water gently to keep the soil moist. Keep your trays in a warm spot with indirect sunlight until the seeds germinate. In about 3 to 5 days, you should see the seeds begin to sprout. If you're planting directly in the garden, create shallow furrows about 1 to 2 centimeters deep and place the seeds about 10 to 15 centimeters apart. Once you've planted the seeds, cover them lightly with soil and water gently. It's very important to keep the soil moist, but not waterlogged, as this can lead to poor seedling growth. Step 4. Caring for your Pak Choy. As your Pak Choy plants grow, they need regular care to thrive. Let's start with watering. Pak Choy loves consistent moisture, so be sure to water your plants regularly. However, it's essential that the soil drains well to prevent waterlogging. Water early in the morning or late in the evening to reduce evaporation and ensure the plants get enough moisture. Next, fertilizing. Pak Choy is a fast-growing plant, and it will benefit from regular feedings. I recommend using an organic liquid fertilizer like compost tea or a balanced fertilizer. You can apply the fertilizer every 2 weeks to ensure your plants have enough nutrients to grow strong and healthy. If the leaves start to turn yellow, that could be a sign that your plant needs more nitrogen. Pak Choy is also relatively low maintenance when it comes to pests, but it's not immune to some common garden pests. Keep an eye out for aphids, flea beetles, or cabbage worms. If you notice these pests, you can remove them by hand or use organic pest control methods like neem oil or insecticidal soap. You can also plant companion plants like garlic or marigolds to deter pests naturally. Step 5. Thinning your plants. Once your Pak Choy seedlings have grown a few leaves, it's time to thin them out. Thinning is essential to prevent overcrowding and to allow your plants to grow to their full potential. Use scissors or your fingers to carefully remove the weaker plants, leaving the strongest ones spaced about 15 to 20 centimeters apart. This gives each plant enough space to grow its leaves without competing for sunlight, water, or nutrients. Step 6. Harvesting Pak Choy. Pak Choy is a fast-growing vegetable, and you'll be... How to grow Pak Choy from planting to harvest. Hello and welcome to this complete guide on growing Pak Choy, also known as Bok Choy, from start to finish. Whether you're growing it in your garden raised beds, or containers, Pak Choy is a fantastic vegetable to grow. It's packed with nutrients and grows quickly, making it perfect for beginner gardeners and experienced ones alike. Today, I'm going to walk you through every step of the process, from preparing the soil, sowing the seeds, taking care of the plants, and finally, harvesting them. Let's get started. Step 1. Preparing the soil. The first thing you need to do when growing pak choi is prepare the soil properly. Pak choi thrives in soil that's rich in organic matter and drains well. Loamy soil is the best for pak choi as it provides good drainage while holding on to enough moisture for the plants to grow healthy and strong. If your soil is heavy with clay, you may want to mix in compost or peat moss. This will loosen up the soil, making it easier for the roots to spread. Before planting, you want to make sure the soil is slightly acidic to neutral, with a pH between 6.0 and 7.5. If you're unsure about your soil's pH, it's easy to buy a soil testing kit to check. If the soil is too acidic, you can add lime, and if it's too alkaline, you can use sulfur to adjust the pH. This is important, as the pH of the soil affects the plant's ability to absorb nutrients. Once your soil is ready, make sure to water it lightly before planting. This helps to settle the soil and ensures that it's evenly moist for seed germination. If you're using raised beds or containers, make sure they have proper drainage holes so the water doesn't accumulate at the bottom and cause root rot. Step 2. Choosing containers or planting directly in the ground. When it comes to planting pak choi, you have options. You can grow it directly in the ground, in raised beds, or in containers. Growing pak choi in containers is a great option if you don't have a lot of space or if you live in an area with poor soil. For containers, make sure they are at least 5 gallons in size to give the plants plenty of space to grow. Ensure the containers have drainage holes at the bottom to allow excess water to escape, as pak choi doesn't like its roots sitting in water. If you're planting directly in the ground, you'll want to space your pak choi plants about 15 to 20 centimeters apart. This gives them plenty of room to grow and prevents them from overcrowding each other. You can also plant them in rows, which helps make weeding and harvesting easier. Step 3. Sowing the seeds. Pak choi is generally grown from seeds, and the process of sowing them is pretty straightforward. If you're starting the seeds indoors, fill a seed tray with a good quality potting mix. Sow the seeds about 1 centimeter deep and space them out to prevent overcrowding. Once you've sown the seeds, water them gently to ensure the soil is moist. Place the seed tray in a warm, bright spot with indirect sunlight. If you're sowing seeds directly in the garden, you can make shallow furrows about 1 to 2 centimeters deep in the soil. Space the seeds about 10 to 15 centimeters apart. Once you've sown the seeds, cover them lightly with soil and water them gently. Keep the soil consistently moist until the seeds start to sprout. Pak choi seeds usually germinate within 3 to 5 days, depending on the temperature and moisture level. Once the seedlings appear, you can reduce watering a little, but be sure to keep the soil